Okay, it is time to go to Alaska. I am going to be working in Alaska for the next month and a half, so I'm flying out of San Diego, California, where I said goodbye to my van, leaving it parked for a little bit while I'm working away. Very nice flight out of San Diego. I had a layover in Las Vegas, Nevada, where we could see that interesting flight. We had a fallen soldier being loaded up aboard the plane. It's kind of emotional. We were all lined up at the window watching. You could see the family down there looking on. So the flight into Anchorage is a very scenic flight if it's clear, and fortunately it was clear enough to get some really good sights. You can see those snow-capped mountains peeking through the clouds. Very stunning. You get some sights of some glaciers. So if you're lucky enough to have clear skies when you fly into Anchorage, you get some views like this. It's such a remote, rugged terrain there. A lot of these snow-capped mountains, but there's a lot of flat tundra in Alaska too. So flying into Anchorage, I did have to spend the night in the airport. I slept in the airport and had to get up early morning about 5:30 a.m. to catch a taxi to a small air service airport where I took this small plane. It's just an 8-passenger plane, twin prop, and it's about a 2.5-hour flight from Anchorage, Alaska to King Cove, Alaska, where the boat I'm going to be working on is kept for the winter. So had some kind of rough weather to start. We were delayed a good couple hours waiting for weather to clear up, which is a little unnerving. But being on such a small plane, it's quite the experience. You feel every little bump. The great thing about these small planes, though, is they stay at a lower altitude, so you really get a scenic view if it's clear. And fortunately, the weather cleared right up, and you're literally just flying right by these mountain peaks and volcanoes. Just stunning. So I was treated with some very nice views. Just kind of in awe the whole flight. Just, yeah, but once again, flying right by this stuff. It's almost like you could reach out and touch it. So coming into King Cove, start to see some more of the sea and ocean. And it's just a small dirt airstrip that we're landing in. It was kind of actually a little scary as we start descending and looking through the front windshield. You just see this little dirt airstrip. And yeah, we start dropping in altitude. This was the owner of the air service that was our pilot, so we got lucky to have such an experienced pilot. One of the smoothest landings ever. Really fun experience. So here I am, landing in King Cove. Okay, so here I am in King Cove, Alaska, out here at this dirt airstrip. That was a very nice flight, very smooth. It was a 2.5-hour flight from Anchorage on that small plane. Actually, the pilot was the owner of Lake Clark Air Service. That's the air service that I used. Used them before to get to King Salmon, but this is a new deal here coming into King Cove, where the boat is in one of the harbors. So yeah, that whole thing happened with the landing and then the plane taking off. The other 7 passengers all had people waiting for them to pick them up. So the next thing you know, the plane is taken off and I am here all alone. My ride is not here yet. Hopefully it's the skipper from the boat that's supposed to be picking me up. But yeah, there's some buildings here, but they're all locked up. There's like nowhere to go inside and wait. So I'm out here in the cold and wind, hoping that someone shows up soon. So the adventure has begun, but I should probably enjoy this little bit of solitude here because I am going to be living and working on a boat for the next month and a half, close quarters with 2 other people. So yeah, probably just should enjoy this little bit of peace here. It is very quiet out here. It's pretty windy and cold. So you're a little bit of wind going through the brush here, but yeah, feeling that Alaska spirit here for sure. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of hang out here. Again, there's no cell service or anything, so I can't like call and confirm. Just kind of keep my fingers crossed that someone will be here shortly, hopefully. The adventure continues, or should I say the adventure begins. So the skipper did show up and picked me up to get me back to the boat. We were able to take a little short drive through the town of King Cove, Alaska. There's really not much to it. It's just this little harbor cove town where a lot of working boats are stored. Don't know how many of these residents stay here year-round, but this is pretty much it. You're looking at the little town of King Cove. These are the type of houses, structures that are in the town. I'd imagine it's pretty extreme here in the winter, but a lot of the working boats are stored here because it's such a protective cove with all these mountains surrounding. So yeah, pretty neat to just drive through there. Got down to where the boat is tied up and stored for the winter and got introduced to this boat. This is my first time working on this boat. Well, greetings all. So here we are at the boat. This is the Raven behind me. It's the boat I'm going to be living and working on for the next 45 days or so in King Cove, Alaska. This is a really pretty spot. Never been here before, but it's kind of surrounded by these mountains here in the cove. That's the end of the cove back here, and the ocean over here behind this jetty. So that is the Raven there. I believe that boat is about 100 feet long. It's kind of the classic crabbing style boat. I think it was built in 1987. There's another one just like it behind us, the Windward. That's part of the fleet. So I actually showed up yesterday here at the boat and got busy right away. We've been we've just been getting the boat ready to set sail here. We are going to be departing the dock probably the next hour or two this afternoon, and we have about a 3-day boat ride ahead of us. It'll be a non-stop boat ride, so I'll actually be sitting at the wheel for a little bit while the skipper takes a little bit of rest, and we'll kind of do shifts and get ourselves up there. So that'll be a first for me. I do have issues with motion sickness or seasickness, so we have a patch on board I might put on before we take off just to be safe. And yeah, look at this spot here, right at the base of these mountains. So that is the Raven. We'll go take a look inside. So here we are aboard. We'll just take a quick look. Got 2 main cranes here. I'll be operating this one here. And then at the deck of the boat, these are 4 big holding tanks. It sounds like we only use one, this one up front here. So just getting acquainted. The other boat, it was a smaller boat. I operated a much smaller crane, but it should come back to me, kind of like riding a bike. We do have a refrigerated water system to keep the fish cold. This is part of it here. So we will be taking in sockeye salmon up on the Naknek River as well. We'll be anchored, so we're just getting ready to make the drive up there. So here we are looking at the stern side of the boat. Step in through the door, that is the engine room down there. And we take a left into the galley, a decent sized galley, nice setup. A little kitchen area, sink, electric stove, microwave, decent size fridge and freezer. We actually do have a washer and dryer on board as well, and a full bathroom. Bathroom here, we have a stand-up shower, sink and toilet, which is a super upgrade from the last boat. We had kind of a wet bath setup. The shower was right over the toilet. It was all rotten wood and everything, so this is very nice. So this is my room here, food storage on the top bunk, and I'm sleeping down here. And I've got a couple little cubbies here for my stuff. Some storage in these boxes down here, mostly food stashed everywhere. And there's another smaller stateroom here for the other deckhand who is not here yet, but same kind of setup. Bunk on the bottom, storage on top. We have a washer and dryer on board, which is an upgrade. We used to have to drop our laundry off when we delivered fish and pick it up a couple days later. Coming up to the wheelhouse here. You have a nice view of the bow there. And then the skipper's stateroom is here. Pretty good size. It's got a nice big bed in there, so he gets the nice luxury room. This is the captain's seat here. So I'll be spending some time sitting here. He's going to show me how to operate everything. Got our maps, is all computer and GPS. It's the steering, there's no wheel, that's the steering lever there. Throttle there. So yeah, pretty cool setup, neat boat. Okay, and just like that, we are off. That was a little stressful. Couldn't really film untying there. It's kind of a stressful ordeal. But we are clear. The wind is really pushing. This is a big boat. Yeah, it's kind of tight getting out of here. We got this rock jetty over here. We got to squeeze up. Away we go. Goodbye, King Cove. We'll be back in about a month and a half. To give you a look at the route we're taking with the boat, of course I flew into Anchorage from San Diego and then took the small plane, a 2.5-hour ride on the small plane down to King Cove. Then from King Cove we are taking the boat through False Pass, which is a little sneak through passage right here. And then we go up along the coast all the way up in the Bristol Bay to the Naknek River, where I'll be working. Okay, we are doing it. This is actually going to be my first time out at sea on one of these tender boats. My previous seasons, we started out in the Naknek River and never had to go out. We anchored up in river and worked from there. So this 3-day trip is going to be a little adventurous for me. I do have some issues with motion sickness. We do have some patches on board that I may use if I start to feel a little queasy, but so far so good. Okay, we have been cruising for about 7 hours now. We left about noon, it's about 7 p.m. We are coming upon False Pass. We go through False Pass, should take us about 4 hours, and then we'll get spit out into the Bering Sea. Let's go up top here, see if we can take a look. So this is a non-stop 3.5-day boat ride from King Cove to the Naknek River. So no anchoring overnight, just a continuous ride. So we did have to take shifts so the skipper could get some shut-eye for a little bit. It's pretty much autopilot. You use this lever to steer there, but I don't really touch that. It has an autopilot system where you kind of dial in a direction and it'll just stay on that path until you need to adjust it again. So pretty much just manning the controls, making sure it stays on course here. You can see on the map we're headed in the right direction. So yeah, that was kind of fun and exciting, and yeah, going right into the night. Doesn't get dark till about midnight this time of year, and stays kind of dark till about 4 a.m. So we did get a little bit of fog roll in, but fortunately we had a lot of really nice clear skies to see the sights. Okay, we made it to the Naknek River. That was quite a ride. It was a total of about 3.5 days. We left on Wednesday about noon. It is now Friday, just going on midnight. Call it land of the midnight sun. The sun's just setting. Beautiful evening here to be showing up. I had to drop anchor for the first time, a little stressful. I've never been on this boat before. Dropped anchor on the old boat quite a few times, but should be getting the hang of it throughout the season. This is it. This is where we're gonna lay our heads. We can actually lay down and rest for real because the boat's not moving. Just wanted to thank you all for joining along on this little journey here. The next videos will be showing you what I'm actually going to be doing for work as the salmon season starts to open here. So again, I just want to thank you for joining along here. I hope you all are doing very well out there, and we'll see you soon in the next video. Take care. Peace.